Hi guys, and welcome back. So today's piece is actually one that I started about 2 weeks ago, I think, and I completely forgot about it. I didn't finish it, and I found it while I was going through some of my files and organizing and stuff, and I decided to finish it up this morning. And I will definitely say, when I have something to start working on in the mornings, I feel so much more creatively inclined, where it's something that I can just jump into and start drawing and creating. It makes me feel excited about working on it. And then when that is done, I usually find myself feeling extra inspired and creative for the next project that I'll start that I haven't started yet. And I really like that feeling of having something to work on, to something that I'm excited about, that I like where it's going, and it's that excitement of having something that's unfinished, but I want to experience it and figure out how it's going to be finished. So I think that this is something that it would be fun to see if I can get into the habit of having maybe even sketches that I work on at night that I can wake up and start diving in and working on those a little bit, whether it be inking it or start coloring it. But I think that it'll be fun to have something artistic that I can be excited about just jumping into right when I get up in the morning. And I find a lot of times when I wake up, I don't feel as, I don't really feel like I am ready to start drawing. Obviously, I need to start drawing and I have to start drawing to start wanting to draw, but when I have something that I can just jump into, it's a lot easier to convince my hands and my brain to wake up and start drawing. Whereas if I'm starting from scratch, it feels like a little bit more of an uphill battle. So it's just a nice way to wake up and to feel like I already have something productive to do and something that I can enjoy right off the bat. I know that it's a sketch that I'm excited about. As for this piece, even though it was a couple weeks ago, I actually was starting to experiment with different types of brushes already then. For this one, I actually went in with a brush that was pretty smooth. It had the opacity set to pen pressure so that I could get the different opacity depending on how hard I pushed. But usually when I'm doing something more blended like this, or I'm blending in colors, I will use a really textured brush where the internal bulk of the brush, I guess, is actually very textured, and that helps the two colors mesh together where it has these textures that just come, and I really like the look of that. I love using textured brushes. But for this one, I actually decided that I want to try doing it in a really smooth way, and it was a fun experiment. It was interesting to jump back into it and then try to use a smooth brush again. I find a lot of times when I have too much time in between starting a piece and finishing it, a lot of times the brushes or the technique that I started using, I've kind of forgotten how to do it again. But this one wasn't too bad. It was very straightforward what brushes I was using and everything and how to get back into that. And I definitely liked it. I liked working in something that was that smooth, and I liked the overall look that I could get from that, where it became more of a design choice for this rather than kind of a side effect of the tools that I'm using. It was a very specific choice. I also had a lot of fun with the atmospheric look of this. I wanted it to feel very much like a sunrise, like there is this warm light coming in from one direction and the cool coming from the other direction. So it kind of had this duality where there were two different kind of light sources and temperatures, and one was coming and overtaking the other. So I went in and I did add some more yellow warm tones to the individual local color layers, but I also added a couple overlay and soft light layers on top, where I went in and I added more of a diffused golden color on the upper right hand side coming down, and then a nice cool blue coming from the left hand going up. And I also had a couple layers on top of that where I had these little like almost sparkly hazy dots, because I wanted it to look like there was things floating in the air and it was just really environmental and there was this mood going. And that was definitely my favorite part, when I had the figure pretty much there and I could just add in these layers to get that golden light effect that I wanted. But I definitely have to say I am getting very excited about merging more of a painted blended look in with my style that I'm really happy with. So this one is kind of an in-between, so it's kind of interesting where I've been practicing more with a more painterly look, and to find this piece that was kind of a merge between that, where I still had the line work that was very specific, but I also had much more blended in painterly aspects of it, especially in the background. So it was fun to find this because it was kind of like a little reminder of what two worlds I want to marry and what I want to try to experiment with as far as the pieces that I'm working on going forward. But that is pretty much it for this piece. I had so much fun working on her and looking up reference for the background and for her characters. So ultimately this was a really very pleasant and freeing experience to work on her. I had a lot of fun, like I said. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and check out my shop, and I will see you at my next one.